This is Transmission 32. As usual, we will begin with an opening meditation, followed by the channeling itself, and after that we will have questions and answers. So let's take a few moments to drop into a really sweet and deep meditative space. Allow your body to align with gravity so that you can hold this posture for some moments. And let us allow ourselves to become present in this unique moment, this unique time-space coordinate. Allowing ourselves to appreciate this moment in whatever form and shape it takes, in whichever way it crystallizes. Trusting that it is in alignment, not only with our path and our theme, but also the unique challenges that we came here to explore. Allowing ourselves to bring our awareness to the body, the physical body, what we often consider the physical housing. Let us bring a sense of appreciation into that physical form, our physical time-space coordinate that we experience through the body and with the body. And as we rest our awareness into the body, let us feel the life force, the animation. Let us feel how the universal energy expresses itself uniquely through us, through this unique focal point that we experience as ourselves. Let us feel that life force energy that is the most unique, individuated note within the grand symphony of the all that is. For we came to play a highly specific and highly unique note that allows all that is to be all that it is. For without us it would be incomplete. Thusly, in the grandeur of the symphony of the all that is, our unique note has incredible and intrinsic value, because it is what it is and we are who we are, unique expressions of the infinite. So let us rest in that knowledge and that awareness as we shift into the channeling state. Good day to you. We welcome you to these realms of light, where the vast majority of who you are also exists. We welcome you to these realms of light from where your physical lives, your physical personalities, and your entire physical worlds also spring. In this transmission, we will be speaking of this unique physical vehicle, the physical body. And thusly, if you wish, you may label this or title this transmission Sacred Flesh. Now we choose this title specifically because it goes directly and addresses directly many of the limitations and negative beliefs that you have harbored within yourselves for generations, for centuries, for millennia. And thusly, with this idea of sacred flesh, we wish to give you another rung on the ladder to step on to allow you to shift from third density to fourth density. For indeed, fourth density consciousness is very much about understanding your oneness, unification, a sense of a holistic picture of the universe with yourself within it. Thusly, in third density, you have come to accept certain limitations to give you the experience of separation, segregation, feeling apart from, and many beliefs that were, might we say, very artfully designed to create that sense of separation, for you wanted this challenge. And for millennia, many souls have brought themselves to this very unique challenge of third density, to go into such a deep state of amnesia and forgetfulness and separateness, sense of deep separateness from the all that is, that this creates a highly unique, transformative experience as you forget who you are and then remember who you are from a very, very unique vantage point. Now, however, you have the collection of souls that are on this unique journey chosen to extricate yourselves as a civilization from the density, from third density, moving to shifting up to fourth density, whereby you are now letting go of these negative beliefs that have, from your vantage point, seemingly ensnared many in the illusion of separateness. For of course you can never be fully separate, but you are using your unique connection to the all that is to create the experience of separation and segregation. However, once you are within that separateness and experience it firsthand, as it were, from your unique vantage point, it feels as if you have been very much separated, and it is very real as an experience within that reality bubble. So one of the separations, one of the root negative beliefs, shall we say, root assumptions of your particular realm has been this idea of separation between spirit and physicality. The sense that spirit is nowhere to be found because you are so ensconced within physical reality, and all the societal beliefs thusly have pointed you to buy into this separation fully and wholeheartedly, whereby it appears as not only is spirit nowhere to be found, it is simply non-existent. You do not believe in it. It is an abstraction at best, with no proof, so it seems. And within this particular field, you have had many, many eons of experience. Now, we wish to reintroduce you to the sacred knowledge that has been known to a variety of your indigenous cultures, your mystery schools as well, but has seemingly been hidden. And this is precisely because of the nature of the experiment or the experience that you have chosen to not have this knowledge readily available to your culture at large. And so this idea of the sacred flesh, the idea is that when you believe that you are separate from your body, you perpetuate the very illusion of separateness, that even reaching for spirit, you wish to mend, and yet the very belief that you must reach for spirit is the very belief that it snares you into this idea or the illusion of separateness. Thusly, as is sometimes said in your world, you cannot get there from there. You must be the vibration of that which you wish to perceive. Or in other words, you cannot perceive what you are not the vibration of. Thusly, when you have a bedrock belief of separation, you cannot reach for spirit in that, from that place without experiencing this sense of separation and isolation. Thusly, you might have glimpses of this transcendental reality. However, you will always snap back to your position of separateness in your human form, because that is where your beliefs are at. And the reality will faithfully reproduce for you the structure of your beliefs and project them about you in 360-degree view. so that you can have an experiential reality of your negative beliefs, or any beliefs, be they positive, negative, or neutral. Lastly, one permission slip or one exercise that you can use is to bring your awareness into the body, and rather than seeing it as something as arising separate from spirit, or as perhaps even a hindrance to your realization of yourself as spirit, see your body as an extension of spirit, to the point where it is the spirit focused in a unique time-space experience. There is, in fact, no separation, even though the experience of the realm would seem to dictate to you that you separate from your body, or you have an out-of-body experience. Experientially, it is perceived this way. However, when you begin to shift to higher densities, you begin to realize that the body is an extension of the spirit, in the sense that it is in fact the spirit focused in a unique dimensional experience. Now we have said, and it has been said in the past, that you transcend when you realize that you are the dimension in which you previously thought you existed within. Or as one of your great pioneers in channeling, Seth, would say, you create your own reality. And even so, in a lucid dream, you realize you are lucid when you realize that you are creating the dream. And you are the dream as much as you are the experiencer of the dream. Thusly, your physical form, your physical life, you become lucid in physical life when you realize you are the creator of that reality which you experience. And that includes your physical body, your physical surroundings. You are constructing these. Thusly, it is time for the letting go of these beliefs that you are separate from the body. And coming back to our permission slip exercise, the idea is to bring your awareness into the body and begin to perceive the body as sacred flesh, not as something that pulls you from your path, not as something that veils you from the spirit realm, not as something that is somehow derogatory or lower level, or lower level in the sense of a judgment, that somehow spirit is better. For all those are separative beliefs. Bring a sense of sacredness to the flesh, and you will begin to realize that as you meditate upon your body as sacred, this very particular focus will begin to activate certain energy centers within the energy matrix as it integrates with your physical matrix, and you will begin to fuse this separation of spirit and body such that the interface between physicality and non-physicality will begin to blend, will begin to bring in a sense of profound lucidity to your physical life, such that you will recognize that your physical experience is highly, highly spiritual, as is your dream experience highly spiritual. For you as spirit have chosen a unique focus within spirit to have this unique physical experience. Thusly, it is a highly, highly, for your theme, the most spiritual experience that you can have in this moment. For that is what you as spirit are choosing to experience. So you see, there is no separation. You are spirit, you are flesh, and the flesh and the spirit are one. God and spirit are one. And yet, perpetuated through many of the ancient and modern religions, and especially as they have been handed down to your modern age, is an idea of the flesh being somehow less than spirit, less than God. And it is this particular belief that is encoded in a variety of what you consider to be sacred scriptures of the various traditions of the world, which perpetuates this particular split, which is very, very ancient in and of itself. You can trace this original split all the way back to the original genetic modifications that have been done or carried out by what you would refer to as the Anunnaki. For they very much, as they created through their genetic manipulation the idea of Homo sapiens, they put themselves in a position above humanity. They were the overlords, shall we say. They were perceived as gods. Therefore, they were the intermediaries between the newly formed species and the infinite. They put themselves in between. Thusly, you carry within yourselves not only genetic markers that have been purposefully deactivated, shall we say. That is the physicalized materialization of the belief structure that you are in fact separate, that you are somehow a little bit below. And this has been carried through for eons across time. Now, this isn't something that was, in a sense, shall we say, it would not be beneficial to consider this as something that was perpetuated upon you, for it created a highly unique experience whereby humanity was the perfect conglomeration of physical focus and restriction, allowing spirit, allowing soul to have a highly unique challenge to overcome these limitations. Thusly, in the grand orchestration, it is all part of a play of consciousness whereby consciousness limits itself and then has an experience of limitation and highly specialized focus, and then experiences coming out of that limitation back into a greater sense of awareness. So see this rather as a highly unique challenge that has been bestowed upon you, that has been freely chosen by you at other levels of consciousness. But you will find this genetic alteration and the switching off of certain genetic markers to have the belief counterparts that are that you are somehow separate from God, separate from the infinite, separate from your overlords, shall we say, what you perceive to be as gods and goddesses. And thusly woven into many of your religions, not all, but many, is this sense that somehow the body is less than, somehow you are separate, somehow you must worship God rather than bring God consciousness into a radical personal realization, realizing simultaneously that you are God and thusly everything else is also God. Everything is sacred. For when you realize that you are sacred, you by extension realize that everything is sacred. And you act accordingly. When you know these truths to be true, you act in ways that are in alignment with that truth. Therefore, you naturally have an inherent reverence for all life, including your own. But that is another permission slip you can play with when you drop into your meditation. When you utter such words as, I am sacred, or even, I am God, what comes up? What negativities come up? You might find even such phrases and we will use the colloquial saying, they may feel very blasphemous to you, because of course you are not worthy. And here you are, thusly uncovering the negative beliefs that are holding you to the third density. Why would you be unworthy? As an extension of the all that is. There are no unworthy portions of creation, thusly you are also worthy because you exist. So allow yourself to feel that, but also allow yourself to recognize the beliefs that come up. For when you truly feel this vibration of sacredness, godliness, when you truly know yourself as God, you automatically know all of creation as God, and thusly you treat it that way. For you realize that everything is sacred consciousness playing with form. And you realize, by definition, for when you are experiencing yourself in that enlightened state, of course you realize you are connected to everything because you are everything from your unique vantage point. So there is no power over in this particular vibration, only power from within. And it is the power to love, the power to hold sacred all that happens. So allow yourselves to recognize the sacredness of your own flesh. And as you meditate upon that sacredness, you will recognize and begin to feel over time either the opening of those energy centers that interface with the physical body, or you may begin to feel the negative beliefs bubbling to the surface, telling you that you are not worthy, telling you that you don't deserve, telling you that you are separate, telling you that God is something that is over you and you are just a little peon or a little human. And thusly the separation will reveal itself to you. And as it reveals itself to you, now when you have made it conscious, you can work with it in a conscious way. Now when these energy centers begin to light up, you will feel a sense of expansion, joy, creativity, love. And as that love fuses into the body, as you bring a sense of sacredness to the body, you will begin to raise your frequency in a very profound and powerful way. Now, timing, of course, you might experience bursts of expansion, you might experience bursts of negativities flooding to the surface, and you might oscillate thusly. So, of course, every permission slip you do with no expectation on any particular outcome. Just do it if it catches your fancy, if it is your excitement. Bring that sense of sacredness to your flesh and begin to see that when love fills your physical body, all of your sacred divine impulses will be undistorted. Thusly, they will lead you to greater and greater realizations of your true natural self. Now, when you believe that the body is somehow less than, that the flesh is denigrated and lower in a judgmental way, so too then your divine impulses will begin to be distorted in ways that, as you feel the separation from the all that is, you will fall into states of anxiety, and thusly your impulses will now attempt to cover up that sense of separation and thusly be out of alignment, out of harmony with who you are. And this is where you get into trouble. And then you begin labeling these impulses as bad, and then you begin suppressing them even more. And as you suppress, you repress, and the impulses get even more deranged, and you create more separation, you create more anxiety, and thusly you act out in ways that are even more out of alignment with who you are, and you create these negative spirals and cycles, and you convince yourself that the body indeed is somehow degenerate and leading you astray and away from your path, but it is your beliefs that have done so. So you must get out of this negative loop of calling your body anything less than sacred. So you don't have to take our words for it. Play with these ideas and realize that when the negativity does come up, that is part of the process. It is not an interruption in it. So allow yourself to feel that. Identify the beliefs, for there may be many layers of shame, many layers of I'm not worthy, many layers of I do not deserve, many layers of I am separate, so I have no business calling myself divine. Divine is something over there, and I must reach for it. These are all the illusions that keep you as constant third density. And we would also suggest that you appreciate the illusion for what it is, for it does create its own unique reality experience. Lastly, do not even push away against the illusion. Allow yourself to realize it is there and neutrally observe it, and even give it appreciation for how powerful and what a unique experience it does create. All you simply say is, no, thank you. I am done with that illusion. Now I try something different. Now I play the game of unification and recognition of divinity in myself, and by extension in all that is. Thusly, even the negative experiences begin to be perceived as part of the divine play. Thusly, there is no separation between the idea that all that is all powerful and all loving. And yet sometimes you wonder, how come then there is so much negative experience in this world? It is precisely because you are unconditionally loved to the point that you are allowed to believe and take upon yourself the experience of separation and segregation, and thusly experience all of the reality that such beliefs generate. You are free. You are so free you can choose bondage. You are so unconditionally loved, you can believe that you are not unconditionally loved. For the greatest power, as you know, requires the lightest touch, and all that is allows each individuated point within it to experience its reality according to its own design. Because each point within all that is a creator, by definition. So that will be our transmission for today. Now we may come back to this topic of sacred flesh at another time, but for now we feel we have given you, as we like to say, an earful and a vibrationful. So allow yourselves to play with this, experience this transmission, re-listen to it if you wish, for these transmissions occur at many levels besides the spoken word. And we shall open this up to questions and answers at this time. And please remember to unmute your technology when you ask the question and remute it for the answer.
Good day, Illi. And along these lines of, I have so much that I'm thinking about what you just said, it's hard to straighten it out. What can I do to get better at sensing the different vibrations?
This, of course, depends on your unique constitution. Therefore, allow your natural excitement to guide you. However, we will make some suggestions. And of course, be very free with all of this and allow yourself to be fluid in what you explore. If you are a lover of nature, by all means, then spend time in natural surroundings. Go into quiet moments, non-talking, and simply purely experiencing nature. And once you feel a sense of calm, you can practice extending your consciousness Now to you, from your vantage point, it will feel as if you're extending your consciousness into the ground, into a tree, into a body of water, be it static or flowing. Now what is actually happening is you're beginning to awaken the realization that you are these things. For you are the reality through which you believe that you are traveling through. So you're simply coming home to yourself. And the more you recognize the oneness, the more you will begin to feel not only as your individuated beingness within the flesh of your physical body as you define it to be, but you will begin to experience yourself as part of a much larger body of earth. And thusly you will feel not only through your physical senses, but through the vibrational sense of many, many physical objects around you. So that is one play of consciousness. Let us say you're walking on a natural trail. You can pause and extend your awareness through your feet into the earth. You can put your hands upon a tree or lean into a tree and begin to extend your senses into the tree. This is what it will feel like from your perspective. And the vibration of appreciation will put you in the vibrational state that will render your physical, or shall we say your non-physical, your inner senses to open, because when you appreciate, you feel a unique sense of oneness deep down, a sense of love with that which is appreciated. And as the word implies, when you appreciate, your frequency rises, it appreciates. And it is in these higher rarefied frequency ranges that you will open and the barriers will no longer be there. So you can play with the natural world thusly, taking those quiet moments, extending your awareness into different natural surroundings. You may also use the breath to feel as if you are breathing through the earth, breathing with the tree, and allowing yourself to relax. Build a relationship with nature thusly. This is one suggestion. Does that help?
Yes, it does. And I have felt some of that when I'm working, building things, which I enjoy, creating things with my hands. And there's times where I'll get an impression or a thought, almost like I'm meditating and just coming out of nowhere to help me with my situation to build something. And that brings me great joy. I almost get more input out of that working with something than I do actually meditating, trying to reach out to someone and or receive something. So I know what you're saying about being physical in your creativity is very helpful.
Yes.
And along those lines of I do something when I meditate and I wonder, or when I'm doing a CE5 and I wonder if I'm on the right track. But I'll start out my evening with meditations of love, as starting out with love to oneself first, and then expand that out through my lower prana tube to earth, and out through the celestial bodies, my upper prana tube. So I've got love going not only to myself but to earth, everything on it, and out to the celestial. And then I start going into trying to communicate or shake hands with ET. Is there anything else I might do, or am I on the right track?
Yes. The frequency of love, the frequency of appreciation, these are the frequency bands that will render you the most probable to make contact, for these are the vibrations that enable you to contact more of yourself as experienced in your phenomenal, your natural world. And of course, with no insistence on a particular outcome, because everything has its own unique timing. So allow yourself to do these meditations, not trying to, but simply do them from a place of relishing, a place of appreciation, and appreciate the practice itself, the reaching out, without insistence on any particular outcome or any particular timetable, without comparing your experiences to others in a way that judges you or others. But simply share your experience if you're excited to do so, without overlaying judgment upon it. And continue practicing because the practice itself is exciting, not because you are looking for a specific outcome. Now, of course, to your previous comment, when you are acting on your passion, your artwork, whatever it is, in your case, creating, constructing things, we'll give you a playful analogy for if you're familiar with the game of Tetris. When you are engaged in your work, when you're grounding the energy through action, it is as if you are clearing, you're aligning the blocks of physicality in the most precise way that you can, and they will then create space, as in the game, they dissolve, for more information to come in. And you will create a kind of a natural rhythm, taking the insights and the inspirations and constructing your physical reality beautifully as you do in the game. And things will click into place and you'll find this natural rhythm, and there'll be a little bit of a play of getting things sometimes a little bit out of order. But you will work with what you have, rearranging them, and you'll have an incredible sense of exhilaration. And the faster that you put things together, the more will come. And if you don't take the action, this is why sometimes meditation by itself can begin to feel very stagnant. Imagine all of those blocks in your Tetris game, they're coming, but you're not doing anything with them. Therefore, they just kind of pile up, and eventually that is all there is. There is no more place to put anything else, and all these pieces are disjointed and haphazardly occupying your screen. And thusly it is game over, as you say. So bringing it into passion, bringing the passion into action allows you to clear away those blocks because you have arranged them physically. They click into place. You have a profound realization as it does so, and it creates space for more to come in, and you create this kind of flow with yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And when that happens, it's very enjoyable.
Yes.
One thing other I was wondering is, can we open our memories to experience more of our true selves somehow?
Well, yes, by all these methods that we are describing. When you are in a creative flow, you are experiencing an accelerated sense of yourself, for more is coming through, and thusly you are experiencing more of yourself. Now, sometimes many of you do not realize that as you are in the act, you might be creating a physical action, but often it will connect to and represent, either symbolically and or be in some way related to your other existences, other lives. Thusly, as you engage in these acts of creativity, you are tapping into your soul energy through your higher mind, through your oversoul, and often will engage with other counterparts, not only influencing them in a positive way, but also allowing yourself to be influenced, if we can use the colloquial language that way, by those other lives. And you create a stream of connection, and you translate, whether they be extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial, or simply terrestrial in nature, from these other counterparts. You translate their experience into and through your unique personality into your unique, be it an art form, be it a form of technology, be it a science, an art, it doesn't matter. You are channeling that energy through your physical structure, your personality, which is precisely tuned to your time-space reality. And yet you may be receiving insights from extra-dimensional counterparts or other focal points within your oversoul. Yet they will always be rendered into your physical terms, into that which is appropriate for your personality and your unique time-space coordinate. Likewise, when you live your life and another counterpart is picking up on that, they will translate your experience into terms that are relevant for their unique focal point in their particular time frame or dimensional experience. Now, all of this is already orchestrated very precisely. Let's say you do not necessarily need to try to make anything happen. That which is for you will be revealed to you. The word here is relevance. According to what is relevant for your theme of exploration, thusly, if you have a desire to connect to other lives, shall we say, this may or may not happen based on your theme. Some of you have chosen themes where you are very much focused on your particular life. Others of you have chosen themes where you feel these bleed-throughs and connections very readily throughout the day. Now, it is true that in your age of awakening, you are coming out of your bubbles, coming out of your cocoons to be able to experience more than single focal consciousness and moving into multifocal consciousness, whereby you can hold the awareness of these other parallel lives and parallel realities. But it will come on its own time. Therefore, you do not need to try to make it happen. Simply avail yourself to the energy of creativity and passion. And if your passion is to play with these meditations, such as CE5, then that will open the doors in the most appropriate timing. And paradoxically, the energy that will close those doors shut is the particular energy of insistence or needing something to be happening, or worrying about whether it will happen or not. For that takes you out of the vibration of appreciation and love and brings you into a vibration of anxiety and separation. And thusly you close through your worry the very doors that you would like to open. And of course, if it is your excitement, then by all means you can also reach out to intuitive individuals that might help you to see some connections that might, as you might say, establish bridgeheads into other levels of consciousness. But we would advise you to then play with that in your art, play with that in your creativity, and allow that to unfold naturally rather than overly relying on intuitive people to consistently give you these connections and help you establish these connections. For by all means, use the services of others to establish those bridgeheads, but also then allow yourself to develop your own relationships with your own counterparts and your own multifocal self. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I'm very anxious to meet my soul counterpart, if you will, or my higher mind. And that might be a simple question for you. Is my soul my higher mind?
Not exactly. Your higher mind would be like, shall we say, an interface between the soul and your physical self. So you can think of the soul as being purely a vibration of spirit. And within that vibration of spirit exists a bubble, which would be your higher mind. And then within that exists another bubble, which would be your physically oriented self. Thusly, in a manner of speaking, you are surrounded by your higher mind. It is everywhere. However, projected into that is a bubble, and your focal point within that bubble, a 360-degree view. Thusly, you are ensconced within spirit. You are ensconced within your soul. You are within the higher mind constantly. Therefore, only the illusion of separation, a belief that you are somehow apart from, you use the word anxious. You are anxious to meet your higher mind. And it is precisely this anxiety that creates the separation. The idea is to begin to realize that you are all of that. You are all of those bubble realities. One is constant within the other. And your higher mind is who you are. It is not something far from you. Now, if you want a marker, shall we say, then when you experience love, passion, creativity, appreciation, these vibrations, you are in a direct resonance with your higher mind. Thusly, at that point, you are literally channeling your higher mind. So look for those and avail yourself of experiences that bring that sense of joy, passion, creativity, even a deep sense of peace. These are the vibrations of your higher mind. Thusly, engage in activities that will avail you to those vibrations more readily, shall we say, to use your language. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I'll keep working on creativity. I enjoy it all, and it's very rewarding. So it's not hard to keep going. Thank you very much.
Yes. So let us take a few moments now to sit a little bit quietly and allow ourselves to be in these vibrations. For as we have said, much is transmitted on these frequency bands beyond the spoken word. Thusly allowing the absorption of these vibrations on many levels. May it infuse your physical lives. May it infuse your dreams. And may your physical lives and dreams and spirit awareness begin to blend into one, for it is one consciousness. And allow us now to send the appreciation for your unique focal points as you experience them to be in your physical reality. For you are greatly valued, you are loved, you are spirit beings, simply having a physical experience. Your physical bodies exist within spirit, are spirit in a unique focal point and a unique experience of itself. So rest in that knowing that you are in spirit and you are spirit. You are spirit with a unique focal point in time-space. Own that, know that, be that. And your life will begin to reflect that knowing, that being. It cannot be any other way. You must be the vibration first, for you cannot perceive what you are not the vibration of. So with these words we will wish each and every one of you a beautiful, a fond, a glorious good day. Well, all right. Thank you all for being here. If you're still here watching this video, then please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a lot. And I will see you in the next creation.